So you might not know this, but most writers actually can't stand outlining their books. And to be honest, I used to hate it too. Even now, I struggle when I'm working on a new book to get into the outlining process. But a simple outline, even if you're a pantser, even if you're someone who likes to write by the seat of their pants, is actually going to make you more likely to finish your book. So having an outline can be incredibly useful. And this is true no matter what kind of book you're writing, whether you're writing nonfiction, memoir, or a novel. Problem is, most writers have no idea how to go about outlining their books. So in this video, I'm going to show you 2 steps that you can use immediately to outline your books without getting stressed, without procrastinating for months or years, and then never creating an outline, never writing your book. I've written 15 books. Some of those have become bestsellers, Wall Street Journal bestsellers, Amazon bestsellers. I've also helped hundreds and thousands of writing clients go through this exact same process. This is the process I use. It's the process I teach. It's a really simple way to get started. The exercise that we're going to talk about is just going to take a few minutes, but by the end of it, you're going to have a really clear outline, a clear plan for your book. So first, make sure you get out a piece of paper and a pencil, or if you want to use your computer, open up a new document, and let's go through these 2 steps. And now there's 2 slightly different processes for outlining a novel or a memoir versus a nonfiction book. So I'm going to give you a process for each of those, but I'll start with outlining a novel and memoir. On a new document or a piece of paper, I want you to write down these 6 things: exposition, inciting incident, progressive complications, dilemma, climax, and denouement. Now, these are the 6 elements of plot, and every story that works has each of these 6 simple things. But before we get into the details of what each of those 6 elements are, if you're writing a novel, go ahead and move on to step number 2. I've marked it out so you can skip ahead. Now, for the nonfiction writers, don't worry, I have your simple first step. So if you're writing a nonfiction book, on a piece of paper or in a new document, I want you to write down the following 5 things: problem or promise, make the problem personal, solution story, solution principles or steps, and call to action. These are the 5 pieces of every nonfiction book. Well, almost. I'm going to talk about them more in step 2, so you can skip ahead to that. Now, for you novel and memoir writers, I want you to write your story out in 6 sentences, 1 sentence for each of the 6 things that you wrote down. That's all it takes to create a simple outline. So to make it really easy, I have some quick questions for each one of those 6 elements. And if you want to go into more detail on those 6 elements of plot, I have some links in the description that you can get more info on each one. Starting with exposition, who is the main character? What is the world of the story like? What's the state of things before the action of the story starts? Write 1 sentence for your exposition. Inciting incident. How does your story start? Is there a crime? Does the couple meet? Does the main character discover something new about themselves that really shakes their worldview? What's the inciting incident? The problem, the chance encounter, the villain, the revelation that incites the story. Write a sentence for your inciting incident. Now, for rising action and progressive complications, here a list works a lot better than just 1 sentence because usually there are a lot of complications in a story. So what are the things that are going wrong for the character that lead them to a crisis? And again, if you're writing a memoir, here you're going to be talking about your own life, the problems that you are facing in your life that led up to a crisis. Write down as many complications as you can think of. Next is the dilemma. This is the turning point of a story when the character is put into a place where they have to make a choice, either between 2 good things like love or money, or 2 bad things like sacrificing themselves to save another person or saving themselves but watching a friend die. What choice does your protagonist have to make? Write down that choice. And then for the climax, what happens when they make that choice? What's the big showdown that the good guys have with the bad guys? What new revelation about themselves does the character have? What's the moment of highest action in your story? And finally, for the denouement, What does the world look like after going through all of that drama? Where does the main character end up? What's changed since the story began? Write one sentence for your denouement. All right, that's it for fiction and memoir writers, but what about nonfiction writers? Here, I want you to write out your book in 5 sentences, one for each of the 5 things that you wrote down. So, to make it really easy, here are a few quick questions for each of those 5 things. For problem or promise, what is the felt need, the big problem that your book is going to solve for readers? What benefits and results can people expect from what they learn in your book? In other words, where are they coming from and where are you taking them? Write down one sentence for your problem or promise. Next, you have the make the problem personal or the promise personal, depending on what you're focusing on. But what is your unique experience with this problem? You might be thinking about what it feels like at a deep level to experience this problem. Here, you want to get into your reader's head and write one sentence for this section of making the problem personal. Next, you want to tell a solution story. So, what is a story either about you or someone else who discovered a solution to the problem that you're focusing on in your book? Now, for the solution principles or steps, here you want to create a list, not just one sentence, but a list of the principles or steps that you're going to guide your readers through that's going to help them solve their problem or achieve the promise. And finally, you have the call to action. After your reader is going to learn the solution, you need to tell them to do it. So, what specific thing do you want your readers to do after reading your book? Write down one sentence for a call to action. So, how do those questions sound? Not too hard, right? 2 easy steps. That's what makes this process so great. With just a few minutes, you can create a strong enough outline for your first draft. So, give it a try today. Create your outline for a book using those 2 steps. And let me know how it goes. Leave a comment. I would love to hear how your outlining process goes. All right, that's it from me. Good luck and happy writing.